This is AKAONI Mark. Hi, Dr. Morse. I'm a big fan. Well, thank you, and I'm a fan of yours. Keep up the good work. I'm a male and have had an outbreak of genital warts. That's very common out there, man, so don't freak out. I'm currently on a day 6 of a 21 to 23 great day fast. That's excellent. Use a Parasite M, maybe Parasite G, or whatever formula you want to find out there that's a microbe killer, and go after your virals and your fungus in the body. Detox that, and you're just on that right way to do that. I would definitely take a parasitic formula like Parasite M, and I take Parasite G for a while till they fall off, and they'll fall off. I take a tincture of black walnut hulls, Asian ginseng, and licorice. I would probably get a little something that has several things in it besides just black walnut hull. 3 times a day to filter my kidneys. Also, I also have dark circles under my eyes. Well, yeah, how old are you? Doesn't say. Well, yeah, you got your right. You got your kidneys there. Aren't you guys, you know, I love you guys. You guys, I love the fact that you're learning, you're picking this up, and now you're knowing how to give yourself remedies. Isn't that neat? They don't have to suffer, go through this. Well, I don't know what that is. I also supplement with garlic and a multivitamin. Change that multivitamin to a superfood blend, and you'll do yourself a lot better for the money spent. You know, if you're going to spend your money on a multivitamin, get a superfood blend. Hands down, mountain versus a valley. This big difference, energetically and chemistry-wise. You got all the nano levels in the superfood blends. I'm yet to see any significant difference, so I am doing anything wrong. No, I think you really just got to hit a little bit higher on the parasitic formulas. Get a parasitic formula, like our Parasite M or G, or both, actually, until they fall off, tell you the truth. And, of course, just like you know, my friend, move those lymphs, man. Move those lymphs and clean your body out, and you'll be good. Because, remember, this is all about culturing mediums. This is all about culturing mediums. And we can't complain when we have culturing mediums. And no one ever tells us that. We go in and they culture us. What are they doing? They're looking at a culturing medium. And if you don't culture, you don't got. So how do they see that? But they can't culture everywhere. You know what I'm saying? It's just such fallacy crap out there.
Somebody's already exposed to oxygen.
Yeah. Hi, I just wanted to send along a question, and as concise of a backstory as I could summarize here, I also posted in the YouTube comment section. I hope it's not too long to quickly tackle. Okay, this is Debbie. Hi, Debbie. Hi, sweetheart. Hi, Dr. Morris. Many thanks for such an... Oh, thanks. Thank you so much. I am now on Detox Kit 3 for something that popped up last fall in September. I was 5 months into having metal braces on my teeth, and long story, it started developing hyperpigmentation. Oh, wow. Okay, look at this. Cracking and drying around the corners of my mouth. It was very painful, and cosmetically, none too appealing, I'm sure, especially for a woman. I chose to have a full mouth of braces put on to avert a possible removal of one of my top teeth for a titanium implant. All due faulty cosmetic work done by some high-level dentist. No kidding. I've seen that story all the time. You know, and they go to these holistic dentists, and they rip out all your
Teeth gums.
Yeah, basically. I mean, implants and your root canals and everything else. Is like, well, you know, life without teeth isn't fun. So, you know, you have to learn more of that. And I've seen these dentists just yank these people's mouths out and everything else. Is like, oh my God. And then charge them $35,000 or some ridiculous price for them. You want good dentistry? Go to Costa Rica. There's actually a place in South Africa. A lot of the wealthy people go because they're just, in Costa Rica, a lot of the famous people go to Costa Rica for dental work because their work is excellent.
There's a lot of American dentists going to Mexico, too.
No kidding.
Yeah,
well, Portugal, I met a couple of dentists in Portugal, and we were talking about dentistry work, and they just laughed at American dentistry work, and it's like, ooh, I don't know. But when you see in Portugal, their paperwork is exquisite. Gold embroidery. I mean, it's just exquisite paperwork, and the paper's thicker, and it's just
high style.
Yeah, it's just high. It's people that won't sacrifice quality for whatever. Now, you know that the hyperpigmentation probably was due to the pituitary, and of course the dry mouth and everything shows you high acidosis. Now, of course, a lot of dental work and everything else, they're sucking air and everything else out, and yeah, you could dry out that way. But you have to look at this case with the hyperpigmentation changes and everything, that she's not heavily lymphatic up in the head area, and therefore it would be the guts backed up as well, and then she's drying out, because in doing that, you're dehydrated up in here, and then everything starts coming from the deterioration of the teeth and the changing of the teeth all the way to, and just having braces was a good clue here that she's having probably some parathyroid issues. And then, of course, with the pigmentation changes, you're going to go to the pituitary. So what we have here is probably a pituitary slamming the parathyroid, or you got both. And so I would definitely get up on a glandular, but a glandular for this. I mean, this is probably very chronic by this time, so you want to get into that. Or you could take chase tree or something like that for the pituitary, and try and work yourself out that way. But I'd also take something for the parathyroid in terms of a glandular, just be me, for a short period of time anyway. Let me see, because just needing braces and stuff would be confirmation, I think, that one, she's very acidic, and two, she's not utilizing calcium, and therefore her structure is augmenting. Saved so aggressively by cosmetic dentists over the years. I've been largely high raw for several years now, in between running to dentist's office through the years. Well, you know what, that just tells me that and I have the same problem. My whole family lost all their teeth in their 20s because their lymph systems are backed up in their head. Well, I'm coming along, and I'm the only one in my family that still has some of their teeth. Let me see here. Look at this. I developed a type of irritable bowel. That does not surprise me at all, considering, remember, we talked about the gut being the trunk of the tree here? That doesn't surprise me a bit that you have IBS or anything like that at all. Interstitial lymphatic constipation all the way up, honey. And that's just what this is suggesting to me. And then a viral meningitis. See, there you go. And don't blame the virals, blame the lymphs. That's the problem here, and this is just everything you're coming to me, Debbie, with is just more confirmation that you're very acidic, that your lymph isn't filtering properly, and now your parathyroid and pituitaries have been affected by this, in my opinion. Give me a nice picture of your eyes. We'll look at that. Keep me up at the hospital for 6 weeks in recovery to regain my memory. Oh, my God. Oh, you need a good detoxing, sweetheart. Pick up your pituitary, your parathyroid, help to lock those teeth in structure there. To the degree that I can, lots of fruits, pigmentation. Let's see, last fall when the pigmentation and drying started around my mouth. Yeah, you want to detox pretty deep and get over this, because nothing good ever happens to anything you're telling me here, sweetheart. Once the braces came off this past February and the stainless steel fixed retainer was put on the lingual side of my bottom teeth along with the new set of top laminates, the bottom still showed itself. I thought perhaps it was a reaction to the metal used in the braces. And now, I have fixed the retainer taken out. I should note that when I first saw the hyperpigmentation, so far what I'm seeing here is, sweetheart, is move your lymph, move your lymph, move your lymph. And I know it's a broken record here. But when you realize the simplicity of this, and you realize the gnarly side, if you will, the corrosive side of acids, and the body's response to that is calcium, you can understand why you're not keeping everything straight. But also, that is a good clue when you're seeing pigmentation changes, because you're right to the pituitary. So really, you've got a good map, and then you're down here with the bowels here, and the meningitis. That all just picks up with the kidney and adrenals, and not moving lymph, interstitial lymphatic constipation that's backed all up into the head, and blah, 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 blah. So detox, clean your bowels out, get the, I do the GI broom, lymphatic 1 capsules, head down the kidneys, lymphatics, and go that way, dear. Thanks, Debbie, for your comment. I hope I didn't go too fast for you. Just follow what we're saying on these channels about detoxification. Get yourself way up there and detoxify yourself. I wouldn't be going too slow. And definitely, if I was you, I'd pick up a glandular for the pituitary and the parathyroid. Hi, Dr. Morse. I had my tonsils removed when I was around 10 years old. I'm 48 now. What kind of harm does this kind of operation pose on a developing body? I was told they were removed because I was getting sick too often. Well, right there, my friend, let's see, who is this? This is Lulolancy. Well, remember, all cells feed into lymph nodes. It's interesting, without tonsils and adenoids, you don't get major lymphedema, but you get sub-major lymphedema. So what we don't realize is slowly the lymph system starts backing up. We notice those without tonsils particularly have stiff necks and shoulders. We notice particularly they start losing their C-spine. We notice particularly they start getting floaters more. We notice particularly they get the glaucomas, which is the lymph pressures in the eyes. Well, this is not a good pressure because this is an acid pressure. So then they get the breakdown and they get the MACDs, wrinkled retinas, and all that kind of stuff, but they for sure get the cataracts, which is the body's effort to fight the acids with cholesterol. Then you get the brain lesions, brain tumors, the little stuff like that one. And then you get the deterioration of the teeth. I mean, it just goes on and on and on, from the breakdown of the hearing to everything else. And then, what? Where'd I park my car? That sort of thing. So this is why you never remove lymph nodes. He was always sick. So what this is saying is that your kidneys and adrenals have always been problematic for you at moving lymph, and that you haven't been moving lymph well in your life, and this is the sign of it. But on an omnivorous diet or on an omnivore diet, you don't move lymph well. Everyone falls into that. It is not a lymph-moving diet. That's why God planned all the proper foods for all the species to think of lymph, nerve, and everything else. Well, if you think you're one of the higher species on the planet, then you need to eat that way. You know, we eat like we're the lower species on the planet, not to judge any species, because I don't consider, everyone is at the level God intended that to be. So that's the problem, is it's a minor form of lymphedema. So the best I can say is, when you remove lymph nodes, you always have to keep your body healthy. And always using some things sometimes, like your astringent-rich fruits and stuff, to always keep the lymph system moving on its own, because sometimes we need help. Hopefully the body rebuilds lymph nodes. I have not seen that because I've never had an opportunity to have enough, research on that. And people staying with me, it'd be cool if we could do that. I'm sure that we can rebuild. If we can rebuild everything else in the body, I can't imagine why we can't rebuild lymph nodes. But then again, we're limited, and that's why as we get well respected, we work as one, and we have a tremendous repertoire of cures, then they have to listen. Because if I was sitting to a 12-man jury, I can tell you they're not going to win too much, because they're going to be in a very bad position. We have so much evidence exposing allopathic ridiculousness that they really wouldn't want to take one of us to court and really appreciate what that would give them, because some of what they're doing, even children know better. Now, some of you might take offense at that, and I hope not, because you have to sit in this office and see what we see and cry while we cry, when we see all these people. You've been
What's actually happening.
What's actually happening.
They've actually done to these people.
Exactly. What the AMA's actually done to all these people. You've watched this with me. You've been with me a couple of years, and you've seen all this, and you just have to see this firsthand. You have to see the suffering, and that pretty much it does something to you.
It's sad when these folks come here as last resort.
Yeah,
I mean, very last.
It is. It's sad. You see them all week this last week.
Yep.
Coming in here in their stretchers and their I mean, it's just sad stuff. I hate that. We've always cleaned up, and I know you go, don't be offended with this, but we've always cleaned up medical doctors' messes, and then no one's ever appreciated that. But that you healers will be doing nothing but cleaning up medical doctors' messes, and from the suppression of the lymph systems to all the radical surgeries. But again, there's also the good side to that. I'm going to say that.